We just had the International Women's Day, and my final question is related to kind of equality or so. We unfortunately we have much more men in the safety professional, at least here. I don't know around the world, but I'm talking about Brazil. And I'm a civil engineer, and I'm coming from the civil work where there is a really not nice, let's put like this, environment for women. Even more if they are in a safety professional, because they need to do some, to give some bad news, to say no sometimes, and to kind of giving commands and reoriented men. And most of them are not used to this at home or so. I know you are getting the point. So what would be your advice to them, even more now in this new view where we need to create psychological safety in the environment, give employees voice and everything, but it's even tougher in many cases for women. How can you, I would say, the women uh, overcome this barrier of the prejudice and not equality environment and still do a good job?
Well, that's a really easy question for me to answer. Thank you, Hugo. I'll just solve everything in the next 3 minutes.
I'm a
Look,
feminist, so I always talking about equality.
yeah, no, look, and it's good that we're having those conversations. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy, and I don't live in Brazil. I don't have that lived experience of what it's like to be a woman in Brazil trying to work in this industry. I think that I suppose my advice to women in safety is that you don't necessarily have to try to be more masculine, if that makes sense. I think that the attributes that are traditionally associated with femininity, if I can put it that way, if that makes sense, and recognizing that both men and women can have those attributes, and the same with attributes that are more typically considered masculine. Women can also have those attributes, but I think take advantage of your strengths, whatever they might be. So if you're really good at consultation, if you're really good at listening to what people have got to say and doing that sort of reflective, active listening, if you're really good at helping to draw out and understand the problems that people are confronted with in the workforce, then that's something unique in your skill set and in your capability that you can bring to the picture. So instead of trying to push that aside and take on that really hyper masculine veneer, just don't buy into that. Don't do it. Put it to the side, challenge it. It's unnecessary. You can actually bring something unique and valuable to the organization by taking an approach of humble inquiry and working with the work groups to help them better define and understand the problems that they're facing, and helping them to develop and identify the solutions that they feel are going to be most appropriate for them. So don't go in trying to be the police. Don't go in trying to tell them how to do their job. Go in and ask them about their job and ask them what would help them to do their job better, what would help them to make their job safer for them. So take on that role of facilitator rather than the role of the police officer.
Yes, perfect. We share this opinion, and I had a situation where I was identifying that one of the girls that worked with me was trying to be one of us, like looking more masculine, not in sexual way, but trying to be tougher and trying to show masculine characteristics. And I told her, no, we don't need. I don't need another Hugo. I need you, and I need your skills. That's why you are hired. You know, you need your sensibility, your strength, your different way of thinking. And there is a famous saying that established that if we agree about everything, one of us is unnecessary. You know, so I need you bringing different opinion, different standing point, and fortunately she got it. But I guess that it was like triggered by this conversation I had with her, giving her psychological safety, if we can call this, to be herself. You know, so. But thank you for the answer, and I appreciate that we share this opinion, because I think we'll be much better if we give space for women being whoever they want to be, and others, other kind of minorities. They can contribute a lot for all fields. Not only, I'm talking about safe because this is my field, but they can contribute for everything, everywhere, being themselves.
Yeah, and I think that there's also an element of, you know, giving men space to have those attributes of gentleness and kindness, that, you know, men don't actually have to be hyper masculine either. You know, there's not just one type of man. And so allowing for that range of characteristics and attributes and behaviors and traits, recognizing that they do appear in both men and women, and that being okay.
Perfectly said. Yeah, yes, I missed this point, but of course, men also suffer a lot of pressure to be always tough, to be always firm, and to be, they don't cry, they don't have fragilities and everything, but everybody knows it's a completely lie. Also, I prefer to work in a place where you can show your real emotions, not hiding anything. So it's much better. And fortunately, I have this opportunity, but I know that some of my friends, unfortunately, doesn't have. But we work to create this kind of situation.